In this video, we're going to be talking all about what it takes to get the cover of Thrasher, aka take a really good skate photo and get a little behind the scene glimpse from his session recently in New York City at a DIY spot, and then I'll be critiquing the photos that we got. Let's jump into it.
Give yourself a minute.
Let's shoot this photo real quick and then look at it.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see how it goes down.
This is gonna be like a little behind the scene process of getting a skate photo at this spot. Because sometimes skate photos, it's a lot different than video.
Yeah. You get it?
I think I took it a little too early.
Oh, Al's gotta approve.
Oh my god, he's just in the middle of the
That's sick.
That is the one thing with skate photos versus filming, is that like when you're filming, you can find the angle, you can get it. With this skate photo, you kind of slightly got to adjust your approach or like where you are so you get the right peak of the trick. So yeah, it's kind of funny how that works. Photos can actually be harder.
Whoa. What do you got for me?
One thing that I've learned that actually you taught me is always have like a blank sky in the background.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the skater really pops out.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I always try to do that with like photography in general. You want to isolate basically the skater and everything else is in the background. So you really want to create that foreground to background contrast because it allows you to really see the trick and what's going on. So yeah, if there's like something in the sky and the skater's blending in with that something, you're not really able to see what's happening. So I think a good tip that Ian just mentioned is isolate the skater in the sky if it's possible, depending on the angle of the trick, the spot. Super hyped to be back here. This is the Sparks DIY, Long Island City. They also call it Mosquito Beach because in the summertime there's lots of mosquitoes. You got to be careful. So I'm super hyped to check this DIY spot out. It's been a while. I was here one other time a few months ago and it looks pretty similar, some new tags. It looks like they do have some new cinder blocks and things that are being prepared to build new obstacles. But yeah, such a fun DIY spot. It's really cool. Right on the water. Sparks Deli is actually how you find it. Hopefully I'm not giving anything away. Pat from Skateboards, a bunch of other people, they built this amazing spot for the community. It's basically at like a dead end road. So like the road ends, there's a Jersey barrier, and like there's all this space where nothing otherwise would have been. Like it would have just been a dead road. So took advantage of it and built a little DIY skate park. It's been here for a while too. Al has never been here, so I'm excited to see what he ends up doing on some of the really cool, unique obstacles. There was a few tricks that I tried last time I didn't get, so maybe I can get those this time.
So I wanted to talk through some of these photos with you guys and tell you why I wouldn't use some of them and why I would use some of the pros and the cons, some do's and don'ts of skate photography essentially. So the first photo is Al doing this backside ollie at the Sparks DIY that we were just skating. And the one thing about this photo that I really like is that he's in the sky, he's isolated, you can see what's going on. He's clearly ollieing backside from the channel, the Jersey barrier to the right Jersey barrier, and he's really isolated in the sky. However, his back foot is kind of dangling off the back. What sucks about this is that Al probably made it this try. I think he actually did make it this one or the next one. I think he did land this try actually. And if I were Ian shooting this photo personally, I would probably ask for one more just to make sure that like it doesn't look like a bell, because someone could look at this and be like, oh, that's a bell. The next group of photos are from the Chelsea skate park session that we hit. It wasn't the Sparks DIY. First one we'll talk about is this tail block that I got, and I actually really like it. I was stoked. I like how Ian used a flash and it really, again, kind of isolated me and locked me in as the composition. And I like how you can see my face, you can see my hand. It's clearly grabbing the board. You can tell that doesn't look like a bell. It looks like I'm definitely going for it. Overall, I think it's a really good photo because you can see clearly what the trick is, what I'm doing. And even if you don't know what the trick is, you can still see what's happening, which is a really good job on Ian's part. The next photo is this backside tail slide photo where I'm going over the hip. And in this photo, I would say it's kind of hard to see kind of what's going on for me. I mean, you could sort of tell that I'm going over the hip, but the thing about it is it's just almost like too much fisheye. It's either not too close or you need to go farther away and put on a long lens. And I'm sure Ian was just like trying to shoot because we were just doing a bunch of tricks, rifling them off back to back. So he didn't have too much time to like change lenses, but that's probably what I would have done, is gotten a farther away shot and taking the flash off so you can see the whole area and the surrounding, because in this trick, you can't tell what it takes to get to that backside tail. So you actually have to go up a hip and then it's another bank into another bank. So yeah, this next batch of photos is actually 2 photos, which is a really good way to kind of critique skate photography right now. There's one where my hand isn't in my face. We'll go over that one first. And what's really nice about this is you can see my face again. You can see the trick. The coping is a little bit out of frame. Like I would have liked to have been shifted over to see a little more of the transition in the coping. However, you can basically see everything that's going on, which is really nice. I personally actually like that you can see Joey in the background filming our friend. Really good composition, similar to the other shot. And then you have this pivot fakie photo where I think it's better as far as the ramp goes. Like you can see the concrete better, you can see the obstacle that I'm skating, you can see how steep it is, much better than the other pivot fakie. However, my arm's sort of like crossing my face, and I feel like I'm not at the very peaked part of my pivot fakie. I feel like I'm still sort of coming into the pivot before I start to peek it out and come out fakie. So it's really about getting the trick at the right time to where it looks sort of tweaked out, if you will. So I think if I was going a little more fakie, it would have looked better, like in the other one where I'm kind of scooting it more to fakie. This one is really cool with the owl doing a frontside air. He's just like screaming and the clouds are glooming behind him. It looks like it's about to be a thunderstorm. So overall, it's the same thing. It's like all about the composition with a lot of these transition photos, especially. Owl, you can see that's like right in the middle of the screen, goes right to where your face is. And with the fisheye, it's really nice because you don't have to worry about getting the transition that's in front of Al with the frontside air. You can get the sidewalls and you can tell that that's the same sort of height bowl that he's doing the frontside air on, which is really cool. And then you have this next photo where you can see me in the background. I didn't mind that. I think more so is the exposure of the photo. You can tell it's a little bit brighter, so we didn't get the clouds in there. Al doesn't seem to be as high in the frame. As you can tell, Ian's a little bit lower in the other photos, so that definitely helps to kind of just justify the air. And then this last photo that we have is actually Ian didn't know that Al was gonna late shove. He was just doing wallies off this little ramp, and last second he decided to do a shove out. So you can't really tell. So I'd say this photo, that's the one thing that's kind of missing. You almost have to shoot a trick like this a little bit late, or like a split second later than you normally would, because you want to see that his board's actually spinning. In this photo, it looks like he might be doing a Wally 180. However, really cool with all the buildings back there. He's really locked into the middle of the screen. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this quick little video critiquing skate photography, just talking about some of the basics. See y'all on the next one. Mash.